Everyone, welcome to the show. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. I think he thinks it's nice to see me as well. At least I like to believe that. Today, doing a video. This was kind of suggested by my buddy John. He was like, "Why don't you do a video essentially on how people get business? Almost also here's things that I don't do to get business." And that's not because it's a better or worse thing, but it just kind of a glimpse behind the curtain, if you will, about so everyone thinks about getting their real estate license at some point when you're in a life crisis. And so how do you actually get business when you are in the real estate position or real estate agent world? So here's the vast majority of how people are going to rely on getting business. Their friends and family are going to call them. That's it. Most people are never going to venture beyond the point of hoping to God that my friends and family call me because I posted on Facebook that I got my real estate license. When you get your license and you're in some sort of, sort of orientation, if you will, hey, you're a new agent, here's how you get business. Most of what they're going to do is rely on your SOI, your sphere of influence, is what they are going to tell you to do. So you're going to be calling your friends and family and acting like you're catching up on life, but make sure we mention, hey, I did get my real estate license though, by the way. So just saying, if you ever need to sell that house, I'm your guy, Bob. And that's genuinely what you're supposed to do, and literally throw your friends and family on a calendar of scheduled follow-up with them to try to get them to eventually use you to buy or sell homes. It's kind of icky, and I don't do that. I just don't care for it. If you're a friend of mine, you know what I do for a living. You should be excited to support one of your friends, assuming that your friend is good at their job, which I like to think that I am. So, hey, that's on you, dude. If you're not going to use me, you're not going to use me. Now, you're dead to me if you don't use me, but that's up to you. Beyond that, it's largely your social circle that you're relying on. So, a lot to do with your kids, right? A lot of people that get their license have kids, and so they heavily rely on like the school scene of their children, right? You show up and you talk to the other parents. Same thing with sports, right? You go to your kids, little soccer game where they're running around kicking the ball, and you're supposed to talk to other parents and, oh, did you hear about those interest rates there, Bill? And stuff like that, right? That's what a lot of it is. Church, same thing, right? Hell, I'd be willing to say I probably know people that largely still attend church because they get business from it. But hey, no judgment from me. You do whatever makes you happy there, big guy. Beyond that, once you get outside of your friends and family, which most people will never do, they will just stick within that and hope for the best, which is why the attrition rate for realtors is so high, upwards of 90% in the first 2 years. But if you venture outside of that, let me give you some real world examples. It's almost Halloween time when this is coming out. So there's a thing called, apparently, a trunk or treat. And I don't know what the fuck a trunk or treat is. I still don't really get it. To me, it just sounds like a lazy fat person version of Halloween, where you're supposed to go walk around and knock on doors. This is the obesity program where a bunch of cars just pull into a lot and they open their trunks and you just grab candy from their trunks and you just hit the whole parking lot. Like, it's the laziest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. But I saw a flyer that John sent me of a local agent. They dropped off a flyer on their doorstep, and as best I could tell, it was inviting people to come to a trunk or treat. So basically, it's, hey, look, I'm going to lure you in via your children, right? Your kid at home, right? He wants his Kit Kat bar, right? He wants that Kit Kat bar, and you can tell that kid wants a Kit Kat bar, and so bring your kid to my trunk and give them some candy, and let's talk about the interest rates. Now, this sounds ludicrous, and it's 100% accurate, guys. Any real estate office that I've been a part of, every freaking year around Halloween, they're telling all the agents to come over for the trunk or treat, invite all their friends and family and all this shit. I mean, it's crazy, guys. Like, I can't even make that up. I didn't even know what a trunk or treat was prior to moving to Utah, where apparently people can't walk through a neighborhood and knock on a door like a civilized freaking child. Beyond that, knocking on doors, literally knocking on doors and just trying to drum up a conversation about real estate. That sounds like the most miserable existence that you could possibly imagine. Doing free CMAs, competitive market analysis, when you knock on those doors, hey, Bill, it seems like you own this house. I'll tell you what your house is worth. Just give me your name, your number, and your email address, and I'll get that right over to you. Now you're on a newsletter, and they're going to just keep spamming you until eventually you hopefully use them. I know this sounds depressing, but this is actually how it works, guys. Cold calls, you probably think I'm lying when I say that real estate agents do cold calls. Oh no, I'm not lying. In volume of cold calls, and swear to God, I'm not kidding here. My damn phone's over there. So I'm going to give you a real world example, and then we'll just go ahead and wrap this damn thing up. I got a text about 40 minutes ago, and it said, hey, Jake, this is this person from this brokerage, since I probably can't say names or brokerages, but it's this person from this brokerage, not a brokerage that anyone likes. I mean, everyone can't stand these guys. And she was like, hey, I saw you set up a profile, but you never did anything with it on our brokerage's website. Is there anything I can do to help you get into your new home? And I was like, I almost wrote her back. I'm like, the only reason I set that up is because in order to make an offer on one of your guys' houses, I had to set up a profile. I'm not buying a house, I'm an agent. Like, is your guys' software that bad you couldn't tell that I was an agent and not a home buyer? Like, Jesus Christ, guys. But that's real shit. Like, I get texts from other agents pitching me on selling my house. I'm you. We're the same thing. Like, this is how it works, guys. Sad, depressing, but it is how it works. Real quick, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So this is Midwinter's Night Dram, and this is for those of you who follow this channel. You may know that I'm kind of a whiskey guy. This is the Act 10. This came out a couple of weeks ago. Act 10 is their designation for the 10th anniversary. So this is a 10th anniversary bottle. I love this stuff. It's, top 5 whiskeys for me. I do not find it to actually be overhyped. I wouldn't pay the $300 secondary market value on these, but at $125 direct from the distillery, I was there at 8:45 on Sunday morning when they opened up at 11 a.m., right? So me, ironically, John, was there with me, a couple of degenerates on a Sunday morning in Utah, waiting in a line to buy alcohol. But this is really good stuff. You probably are gonna have a really hard time finding this, but if you happen to see it, especially if it's not $300, 100% pick it up. Full endorsement from this guy who drinks a lot of whiskey. So I hope you guys are doing well. If you ever enjoy this channel or anything that we talk about on it, maybe subscribe to the channel or leave a freaking comment or something. Or if you really want to support us, call us if you actually need to do like real estate deals. Hope you guys are doing well. Talk to you soon.